The third secret to getting the best image quality or picture quality is the color. It's probably one of the most misunderstood and usually gets overshadowed by brightness, which we've already talked about, and contrast. But color is what gives us the reality or the realism to the actual image we're watching. Here we have two images which they're both the same image from the source, but as you can see, each of these projectors is displaying it very differently. And there's reasons for that, which we'll explore a little bit later on. But the thing to understand with color is that color starts with a good black and white image, which we'll take a look at now. Good color actually starts with a good black and white image. Here you see two images, both of them the same brightness, both of them the same contrast, but the image on the left does not have good, what we call color balance or white balance. On your display or set, or perhaps you're looking at a new projector or flat panel, you want to make sure that it has the ability to adjust what is normally referred to as white balance. Sometimes they call it picture temperature, and it'll have a temperature of cool, medium, and low. For good motion picture reproduction and skin tone reproduction, you want to be in medium or low, not high. In terms of color temperature, some sets, especially projectors, have the ability to set in degrees, and the degrees we're looking for in motion picture reproduction is 6,500 degrees. Now we're going to take a look at what happens if you have this kind of white balance, which the one on the left is much greener than the one on the right. Now we're going to look at a skin tone and see how that affects it. So here's the actual effect, or what happens when your color temperature is off. We're feeding it again identical images, but the image on the left is very cold and green. It doesn't have the warmth that the image on the right does. And again, this is nothing to do with color adjustments per se. This is not color level, this is not color hue, this is color temperature. This is a key secret that is overlooked in many displays. So make sure when you're evaluating a projector or a flat panel that it has this adjustment. In most stores, it's going to come out of the box in a very cold color temperature, very similar to the one on the left, and you're not going to get the reproduction that you could be getting unless it has the ability to make those controls yourself. So many of the new TVs have all these automatic circuits, and you just get to take what it gives you, whereas you want to make sure that the set you're looking at or the projector has the ability to adjust this so you can get the very best picture. And the position you want, again, is in the middle or low color temperature. And if it's in degrees, you want to be at 6,500 degrees, which we are on the right. On the left, we're over 9,500 degrees, which is causing this image to be very cold and blue. The fourth secret to getting the best picture quality is sharpness. It's probably the most confusing secret of all the picture quality fundamentals that we'll be exploring. Here's where the confusion is. Here we're looking at two images. Again, these are both projected images, and the image on the left is much sharper than the image on the right. However, which image is better? We're going to take a close look at these two images and you decide for yourself. So this shot, we've moved this projector over to the right so that you can see both these mountain peaks or rock faces, and this projected image has way too much enhancement, which you probably can't see, but we're going to give you a close-up of both of these so you can see what happens if you overdo sharpness. So here we see the effect of over sharpness. It's causing white outlines all along these edges. You can see what it's done to these rocks, and the trees no longer really look like trees. They are very artificial looking. That's what you want to avoid. Now we're going to take a look at this same scene with correct sharpness. Here we see the same scene and about the same close-up, but you'll notice now that the detail in the rock looks more like a rock, and in these rocks and in the face of the mountain and also in the trees. This is one of those new artificial intelligence circuits that's allowing us to bring out the detail without getting that phony look. That's one of the things you're going to want to look at when you're evaluating flat panels or projectors. And there's different names for them, but it's a very noticeable improvement in picture quality without getting that over-enhanced look. Here we see an example of one of the new intelligent digital enhancements I refer to in the blog on our website, and is a great example because we just looked at an example of too much enhancement. The one we're looking at here is called Digital Reality Pro, and you can see it going on and off, or Digital Reality Creation. And it's not adding that harsh detail white edge line that we were seeing before, and so we haven't lost the integrity of the image, but it does look like it's more in focus and is much more pleasing to the eye. These are worth looking into. These are known like Super Resolution is another manufacturer, Darby Vision, X Reality Pro. These circuits are amazing if they're set at the proper levels, which is very easy to do because it's a very visual thing. The last secret to getting the best picture quality is resolution. Resolution is usually the most promoted and overhyped feature of most ads that promote a projector or a flat panel. Now, what you are looking at right now is two flat panels. They're both the native resolution, what the panels are capable of displaying, is the same. But in this case, we're feeding the same image from two different computers at two very different resolutions. We're going to zoom in now and take a little closer look and see if you can see the difference, which I will challenge you to see. Even in person, it's very difficult to see up very close. So the image on the right is actually 720p, which is 1 million pixels composing the image. The image on the left is full high definition, or what we referred to as 1080p, or full high definition. And yet, looking at these images, live or even on this video presentation, you should have a difficult time seeing the difference between these. Why is that? Well, it's because of the other 4 secrets to picture quality. Color is good on both, contrast is great on both, and so the intensity of the image is about the same. The real difference between these two images is just the resolution. And so, with everything else being equal, resolution, it only plays into the evaluation part of this is if you're really, really close. And then, yeah, we can see a little bit of difference, but it's not as much as you think. So when people tell you that 4K is 4 times the resolution of HD, that's really what is required to be able to see a visible difference. If they only doubled high definition, it would be hard to see, just like you're seeing in this presentation. Doubling of the number of pixels isn't going to make a big difference. However, quadrupling the resolution is significant and does make a difference, and depending on your viewing distance will make all the difference in the world. So here we've zoomed in on just her eyes, and this is on the 720p or 1 million pixel image. And now we're going to switch to the same part of her close-up, her eyes, on the 1080p and see if you can see a difference. This is our close-up from that same scene, the two flat panels side by side, and this is on the 1080 or 2 million pixel display. Where you will see the difference is in the detail in these eyelashes, some of the detail in her skin texture in here, but it's very subtle, even up very close like I am here. So we're gonna go from here now, and then we're gonna cut to the lower resolution again just so you can see the difference. So now we're back on our 720p or 1 million pixel image, and right here in her eyelashes and in her skin texture there are some subtle differences. But again, what really makes the quality image is the other 4 areas we've talked about. Resolution would be the last one on your list. Now, in terms of high dynamic range, which encompasses almost all of the things we've talked about, right now it's only available in 4K, so you're going to have the capability of very high resolution. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your DVD is going to look terrible or that your Blu-ray is going to look terrible because it's not 4K, because here you're actually seeing that that is the least of all the characteristics and the secrets that we've talked about. Okay, so now you understand a little bit more about what it takes to get the very best picture quality out of a display, whether it's a projector or a flat panel. Now for some really good news. If this all sounds a little complicated, There's a new technology out in both projectors and flat panels that takes the very best of these 5 secrets and combines them into a display technology called high dynamic range. And high dynamic range combines great contrast, fantastic color, and something we've never had before, which is a wide exposure range that are reproduced from the cameras in the motion picture images for the first time in our home, so that we can see all of the detail in the darks as well as all of the detail in the highlights at the same time. You'll want to really watch what's happening with HDR or high dynamic range. Unfortunately, they only put it in some of the better products for right now, but it's something worth checking into because it combines all of these technologies. I'm Ted Bollinger for TVS Pro.